It's been some years since I was last in Boston. Some years indeed. About 16 if I had to put a number on it. A long time nonetheless, many years before I was a dad. It was really strange how it all came about. If you know me, you know I love hip-hop, and more specifically, if you know me, then you know that 7 times out of 10 I have Earl Sweatshirt playing in my headphones.
With live ammunitions in the stick on the highway, I only get better with time. That's what my mom say to die.
So when I heard Earl was playing in Boston, a few hours drive away, you know I wasn't gonna miss it. Alright, only an hour behind schedule. The Owens family is off on their, I was gonna say annual trip, but no, we don't do this all the time. We're going to Boston for a weekend. And it's Axel Owens' first.
In 300 meters, use the left 2 lanes to turn left.
It's Axel's first family trip. And I think it's looking like it's going to be his first time
turn
swimming.
Left to Route 1 West.
Made it. First leg, I guess, border crossing. Seeing this was Axel's first long road trip, we weren't sure how he would take to being in his car seat for such a long period. To break up the drive, we booked a room in Bangor, Maine, home of the great Stephen King. One thing we didn't take into account was that it was American Thanksgiving, and if you don't know, they take this holiday very seriously. Pulling into Bangor that day was like a scene out of an apocalypse movie. Not a single place was open. So Bangor, Maine, we're just driving through looking for food. We're all starving. And since it's Thanksgiving, absolutely nothing is open. Nothing. It's a ghost town. We were hoping for a Chipotle. Closed. Everything closed. Got the mall over there. Closed. And here it doesn't get any more America than that. Chili's. Okay, so we've been driving around for a few minutes and like everything is closed in this town. It's really sleepy right now. And we were in a panic for a second, but I saw this place in the distance and it looked like there's some cars here. I'm pretty sure they're open. Gonna go in there and try to get, I don't know, something to eat. It's a steakhouse and sushi, so very interesting combination there. It's either this or some gas station sandwiches, so fingers are crossed. And Miss Sari May, what do you have?
Spring rolls.
And?
Udon. And I'm not going to eat that.
Why?
Because I don't.
This is gonna be dinner.
Food? Yeah. What is that? What is that? What is that you're trying to say? You have a big voice. Nice. I forgot my bathing suit, but luckily we're the only ones here, so undies it is. That's how you enter a pool, folks. Come to think of it, my last time in Boston was my 3rd year as a professional hockey player, and it was my 2nd NHL preseason game that I would play in. I was with the Rangers. We were in Boston. I was only there for a night. Stayed at the Ritz-Carlton, and the next day played on a line with Sean Avery. Got an assist that game. Chipped it up the wall to him, cutting across on a breakout. He went down on a 2-on-1. Went 5-hole. How could I forget? Made it.
Okay,
What a journey.
Let's go. I'm sweating
Ready?
now.
He's having a breakdown.
Go!
Switch.
So basically, once we checked out our hotel room, we hit the streets as a family. I love exploring cities. It's one of my favorite things to do, you know, cruising the streets, the sights, the sounds, the smells, the people, the culture, all of it. I love traveling with Jess for the simple reason that we move the same way. We let the wind take us where it needs to. Long day, haven't filmed much at all. It's one of those things, you know, I have my camera, but hands tend to be full. The more children you add to the mix, the busier you seem to get with managing things, which is fine, which is the whole point. That's what we're out here for, you know?
Focus that you're broken. I was pressing on the low end. My free rank was in the corner. I cheap recklessly with no end. I went heavy on the dosage. Try to copper heavy like my bro. My sleep. That's what's on my mind when I toss in my sleep. My heart like my pill when I giant and bleed. My car full of sand when I shop as a spree. Got me more focus. Got me foot inside the door. The door open. I'm going dumb. Going money. I'm from the sunshine state. When I eat, I need a plus up. Trying to find my mind again. I'm trying to tap it. Ride through Manhattan with press heat captain with the map and shit. I reach home and hit the back just quick.
You're gonna hang while I record this?
Yeah, hang.
Okay, if you want to chill with me while I record this, you got to be quiet though, okay? As in, no spinning in the chair?
Can I do this?
Okay, so all said and done, I was home from that show and tucked in to bed before 11, if memory serves correctly. That's not bad. That's a win in my book. Now, it wasn't always like this. You know, I was a young man once, and at one time I probably would have, you know, had something to drink, maybe something to smoke at a show like this, and went out with my friends after, and then the next day you wake up with regrets. Why did I do that to my body? Listen, I've been there, but priorities have changed now that I'm older and more mature. It's not even really that. It's like, I think around the time Irie was born was the time that I really stopped drinking and like getting like really messed up, because it's just not worth it, right? And when you're on a trip like this, like who really wants to feel bad, like physically, when you're on vacation, right? It's one thing to get sick, you don't control that, but to intentionally put yourself and your body in a position where you're hungover, man, I don't have time for that, especially traveling with the family. Weather was fantastic, and we didn't really have much planned. If you guys know us, you watch our videos, you know we don't make plans. That's part of the traveling with kids manifesto that I'm in the process of writing. I'm not, but now that I say it out loud, I actually might. It's a good idea. We don't really plan things on these trips, aside from like where we're gonna stay. That's it. Once the day starts, we just go. We come across things, okay? We go places wherever the wind blows. That's where we end up. Now, having said that, today was a little bit different. We knew that there's a children's museum in Boston, and you guys will see, it's so good. So good. It's the only thing we planned, okay? So if you do have to plan something as a parent traveling with young kids, go early. Whatever time you think it's going to take you, you do your little calculation. It's going to take us that long to get there, whether we take an Uber or public transit or walk, whatever it is. Add an hour to that. It's better to be there early than to be scrambling. Scrambling equates to stress. It does, plain and simple. Okay? So if you're gonna plan something, leave early, get there early. It's better to be killing time than to be trying to make time up. It just adds stress. No one wants that. Okay? My tip to you, traveling parent or anyone who's inspired to take a trip to a major city. Okay? Children's Museum, my God, it was so good. I can't wait for you guys to see. What did you think of the Children's Museum?
I loved it.
Did you? What did you like best?
Can't really remember anything about that one.
Oh, I have lots of video. Do you want to see? This was fun.
Yeah, I liked all those. Wait, that.
This one?
I liked that.
It's a very fancy mall that's attached to our hotel. Fendi, Jimmy Choo, Ferragamo, Gucci, Hugo Boss, Louis Vuitton over there, Dior. Okay, so found our way through the mall, and luckily the train station is not too far from our hotel, so that is good. And taking the train for the first time in a new city, always a very confusing experience, but it's pretty straightforward and we have time. It sucks when you're in a rush and you're running and you're pushing a stroller and you're carrying a kid. You guys get my drift? But yeah, we're here early, we have time, and I think it's just one stop. And we're going to the Children's Museum, by the way, so yeah, so far, so good.
Do you want this?
So fun! I'm excited.
Now, for those of you who've never heard of a children's museum before, it's basically a type of interactive experience specifically designed to engage and educate kids in a hands-on way. The mission being stimulate curiosity, creativity, and basically make learning fun for kids, as it should be for all of us.
I just wanna wake up to the suns and Saint Laurent, $100,000 on the fence. Hella blunts, I just wanna wake up on guitar, on the yacht.
Look at this! Daddy, look at this!
Big spinning, I'ma get back on my feet, give me a minute. I'ma feel this in my thighs, like even in it. Young summer, give me a minute. Sundown when shines, break it down, one line, a line. Can't no see me, no flex, be kind. Dollars never show up on CP time.
Watch what happens, right? You keep turning it.
Oh yeah, it turns.
Yeah. Axel likes them too.
I want to build.
Actually, I can't believe how many leaves are still on the trees.
Yeah, a lot of red and yellow. As I was watching back that footage of Irie and then Jess and Axel in front of that illuminated wall, where does the time go? You know? If you're a parent, you've had this feeling, right? Like, we're seeing our kids grow up right in front of our eyes, and we're so close that you know, you don't see them growing, right? But they're growing, and like making these videos, it really highlights that. Because I remember Irie, her first birthday, she was playing in front of those lights long before Axel was even a thought. And I remember just thinking and watching, just so interesting seeing children learn and take in their environment, you know, turning this light and it changes color, and they're just so amazed by that, and rightfully so. It's really cool, right? It's funny, like as we become adults and we get used to living on Earth, we're harder to impress. Earth's subtle wonders are lost. I like to think of myself as a person who is present as much as possible. I know I'm not present all the time, but it's in my awareness to recognize when I'm thinking too far of the future or thinking too much of the past. It's part of my practice, is coming into the present moment as much as possible. And that is really the goal of these trips, is to be present with our children, to be present with our partner, to be present as a whole family. And I feel extremely fortunate to be able to spend as much time as I do with my children. Most people aren't as fortunate. We send our kids off to school for most of the days. You know, wake up little Jenny, wake up little Bobby. Off to school you go. That's not quality time spent. Our kids are away from us. Not ours, but most people's kids are away from them for the majority of the day. They pick them up from school, they have dinner and send them off to bed. That's not quality time spent. So who is raising our kids? Are we seeing our kids grow? Are we even aware of what's happening at this moment? Too will pass. Anyways, we spent the rest of the day, the rest of the trip just wandering around Boston. That's how we do, you know. It's a way to reduce friction and reduce stress. And if you think it's crazy that we don't have plans and we just walk around cities aimlessly, that's the reason you are stressed with your family on vacation. Boston.
The boy been gone a few summers too long from road running, trunk full of old hunters. Of course, my old lover was scorned. We grow from it. Don't tell me they don't hunt us for sport. I chose substances, no cuddles. The bases is all covered. Niggas come in the door and smoke something, choke up on a slugger for home run ins. Nigga, it's on chest thumpers, head thump on the floor. We press up on the board, no more bluffing. Cold summers.
Hey, Ivy.
Yeah?
How's it going?
I'm hungry.
Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu said, "If you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present." Instead of taking the noodles and holding them way up here, just go like this. Bring them right up to your mouth, not the bowl. And then if they fall, they just go right there. How's that? So it's our last morning, I guess you could say, in Boston. So we just finished having breakfast at a really awesome spot called Pressed, right by the hotel, which is perfect. Man, food, it might have been my favorite meal of the whole trip. But as you know, on this channel, if you've been following our journeys, what we do is just visit playgrounds. That's what you do. Traveling with children is a lot different than traveling with with adults or just by yourself. Yeah, we've been to quite a few places in our tenure together, Jess and I, but our trips are in another universe of what they used to be, you know? So we move slower and we visit playgrounds and get some good food. So, man, we have just been so lucky with the weather. It's been cool, but not too freezing, just like a nice fall, just sort of, you know? Little crispiness in the air, but nothing that some good layering can't handle. And the sun, man, the sun just lights up the city. It's still a lot of fall leaves on the trees and just so much to be grateful for. So can enjoy this playground and hit the road.
Look at it, it's different. See?
Oh, how are you gonna get down that? That's crazy. Go for it. What the heck? That's a weird slide. Okay, if you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for coming on this journey with us. Man, it was fun, and I'm happy to introduce you. If you've never heard of Earl Sweatshirt before, one of my favorite artists again. In this video, all the music, most of it was Earl. Not all of it, but most of it. So wanted to give you a little taste of Earl Sweatshirt, and I hope you enjoyed. Anyways, I'm out of here, guys. Thanks for watching, and shout out to our patrons. Can't forget our patrons. Thank you, guys. Love the support. We'll see you in the next one, okay? Peace.